Hello everyone, this is Pyropaw, yes, the Pyropaw. Don't be alarmed by the sudden change of my tone. Today, we are going to be playing a very different game than usual. I know you're used to only so far Subnautica and Wakfu, but this time it's time for a third game. Now then, we will be playing a story game. Basically, a storybook in video game form. And it is called Narcissu. Now, there is two parts to this game, or story. Is Narcissu first and second. So, I'm gonna make sure I've got this right. Notes? Is there anything in the notes? Thank you for... Oh, no, I didn't want to do this. Stop. No. Damn it. Well, let's stay calm. If I just click this mouse as if my life depended on it, I should get through this very quickly. You don't need to read this. This is like the credits, basically. Wow, there's a lot of notes. Ooh, how many people writ on this? Oh, if your system supports it, a browser window in Narcissu second say opens once you click. No, I don't want. Be right back, everybody. And we're back. Welcome back. Fix the problem. Okay. Load. I've done nothing. Well, of course, I've done nothing. Okay. I guess I click one of these. Oh, there's really nothing. Back. Okay. So, is there anything in extras? I want to make sure I'm on the right one. That's all. Oh, I'm guessing these are all the sounds. That's jazzy. However, this is actually supposed to be a very sad story. It's from what I've heard, and I won't lie, people. When I face something that's extremely sad, I will cry. As a man should. Like how I cried at the end of Titanic. Not really, I was too young to even give a crap. I didn't give a damn about Titanic. Okay. Let's start the game, shall we? And begin. Oh, select title. Yes. Select translation. I'm guessing that's cursive. We always keep insanity spirit. Sure, why not? Let's yes, let's oh, crap. Sorry. I'm not used to doing that voice for so long. Oh, okay. And we're back. Let's do this. I would like it voiced. I want to give the audience a full... I want to give you Pyros, and future Pyros, the full experience. Now then. Let's go with... We're going to start with the prologue.
眩しかった日のこと。そんな冬の日のこと。
Oh, I didn't get a chance to read that. Wow. Oh, suicide statistics. Always a lovely thing to start a game off with. Is that rain? Spring 1996. Satsumi.
確かに幼い頃から丈夫な方じゃなかった。
True, I wasn't very healthy ever since I was a child. Even so, I attended elementary school like all the others, and during summer breaks, I often played until I was utterly tanned. June, shortly after my entry into middle school, the day after I ordered a swimsuit for use the next month. My first hospitalization. On a day just before the first semester midterms. On a day when the first drops of rain were so cruelly cold. Falling from amidst the pure white of the overcast sky. Of course, the first time it happened, all my classmates came to visit me almost every day. And when I was released, they even came to my house on weekends to play. But that was only the first time around. Autumn into winter, winter into spring, a vicious cycle. Hospitalization, release, clinics, and hospitalization again. And before I knew it, even the classmates I once called friends turned into acquaintances, and then into strangers. As if with every changing of season, I was being erased from their collective memory.
どうやらいい気がしないらしい。
It seems that to all those normal people,
普通に生きている人にとって私の存在ってのは
my very existence was an unpleasant fact.
だから消されたようだった。
And so it looks like I've been erased.
いくつもの季節白い梅雨空を誰とも言葉を交わす必要もなく過ごした。
I spent so many seasons, so many white, overcast skies, without the want or need to converse with anybody.
私の英語の教科書は1年生の中間テスト以降まっさらな状態だった。
For that matter, my English textbook never changed from that of a first-year middle school student before the first midterms.
そこで私の時間も止まったらしい。
That is where my time seems to come to an end. Stage Nana, Volume 24. Early Summer 2004. Protagonist, 8 years later. Early Summer 2004. Protagonist. This music is very loud. I'm sorry if you can barely hear me. I wasn't able to change the settings. I tried. Summer. Flowing sweat. The gigantic electronic scoreboard in the driver's license examination facility. Lit up all at once. My eyes and everyone else's looked for our respective numbers. 237. 237. And of some 8 columns of lit text, sure enough, my examination number was shining in the midst. Clickety-clack. Clickety-clack. Sorry. This is really sad, though. Wow, okay. Nearly empty train car, perhaps thanks to the beautiful afternoon. Almost alone in that train car, I was heading back home from the examination hall. My left hand held a new traffic regulations handbook, and my breast pocket held my brand new driver's license. So now I've got a license as well. I muttered, somewhat happy, but there were no strong feelings behind it. I never particularly wanted to drive a car. I never particularly had any motive for it. It was just that my colleagues and the Technical Institute both recommended that I at least get a driver's license. That night, when I told my parents that I'd gotten my license, they merely replied with an, "I see." And when I asked if I could borrow the car just for a test run, they instantly and curtly said just one thing. No. While I didn't really want to drive the car or anything, the response was all too expected. Those were my parents for you. The next day, I awoke with chest pain and went to the hospital. Sickness and I generally had nothing to do with each other, which is why I found the ER waiting room to be utterly boring. And just when I thought they were through examining me, they ordered an X-ray and some blood tests. Then they left, and again, I was left waiting for a long, long time. I already polished off 3 volumes of Shonen Jump, and was just about to start on a 4th win. they admitted me to the hospital. Right then and there. And it seemed that my new license, which still lay snugly in my breast pocket, would have to wait a long time for its turn to come. Wow, this is really sad. Okay, protagonist, autumn 2004. Right around when the all too noisy cicadas had finally gone silent, I once again found myself in the hospital as per usual. Of course, it wasn't as if I'd been there the entire time. I came and went, a futile cycle. My first surgery was a month before. After that, I started doing the 5-minute commute to and from the hospital by moped. And from then on, I was hospitalized, discharged, ordered to clinic, and hospitalized again and again and again. But I still had no clue what PET or ERISA stood for. In no time at all, several months had already passed. As my appetite decreased, my medications increased. I could feel my own physical strength atrophying away. I kept imagining that my legs were getting thinner. But the needle of the weight scale rudely informed me. It's not just your imagination. And yet I kept looking on at myself with detached interest. As if it were happening to somebody else entirely. As if I were looking at a scene on TV or the like. My mind could not grasp what had so suddenly happened to my body. Nothing within me was telling me that this was real at all. And that's why, even though it was all happening to me, I kept looking on as if it were happening to someone far away. Protagonist, winter 2000. I didn't see the last part, damn. A day in winter. Around when the Christmas trees had vanished from the streets, I was discharged home as a kind of New Year's Eve treat. It seemed like an exercise in total transience, but still, it made me slightly happy. I traveled back to a home I had not seen in a long time, in the midst of a freezing rain. Strangely enough, my entire family was there. My parents, who had never so much as talked to me, came out to meet me, if with terrible, stilted smiles. And my little sister, with whom I never had a pleasant word, had made my favorite cream stew and fried shrimp just for me. They made me sit at the table. They peeled tangerines for me. They were cruelly kind. It was an impressive display. At this point, a little thought occurred to me about my new driver's license, which was still stuffed away in my pocket. That perhaps things would end up in for the license without it ever having known any use. And surrounded by a trio of stilted, strained smiles, I kept that thought, as if it were someone else's business, with dispassion, ambiguity, and total disinterest. January 2005. Protagonist. A new year began and I returned to the hospital. But on this day, instead of my usual 4F room, I ended up in a conference room of sorts. They took me there. And then my father and the doctors had a little talk. I joined in. Well, they talked to me. So this was their so-called announcement. They said it in a terribly roundabout fashion, but they told me that I was going to die. I see. That was my only reply. I had no other words. It was the only thing that left my mouth from beginning to end. And the doctor's ballpoint pens flew across paper as if in response to my words. Those were probably hospice enrollment procedures, businesslike to the last. My father was the same. So it's this simple, was the only real thought I had. That day I transferred from the 4th floor to the 7th floor, from a 6-person room to a private room. It was a little different from the other wards, this 7th floor. First of all, the floors were sparkling clean, and second of all, the ceiling was higher than I'd ever seen it. The rooms were very nice, and had large windows from which the warm daylight streamed in as if by design. But the windows only opened a little. I tested them out, and my head would only just barely fit out of one. The color of my ID bracelet has changed as well. The bracelet that I had worn ever since that first hospitalization, and the one that had my name and blood type recorded on it. Its color had now changed from blue to white. A high ceiling, a white vinyl bracelet, a window that would not open more than 15 centimeters. The TV program celebrating the New Year's was still playing when I was transferred to this 7th floor. And it was at the dawn of that very year that I met her for the first time.
Narcissus. 冬7回
Winter 2005, 7th floor. Oh, I guess it wants me to click. But, unfortunately, my dear Pyros and audience, that is all the time we have for this episode. Join me next time as we continue down this sad and tragic story of a young woman who was diagnosed terminally ill. So, until next time, stay hot, everybody.